I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Clerk Golick, roll call, please.
Alexander.
Present.
Spitali.
Here.
Kowinski.
Here.
Salinas.
Here.
Tyler.
Here.
Emerson.
Here.
Warple.
Here.
Rakels.
Here.
Venez.
Here. 8 present, one is,
Zoom.
I can't think of the word.
Zoom.
Zoom, yes, thank you very much. Zoom. All righty, thank you, Clerk Golick. Mayor?
Hi, nice to see you. It's been that long since the pandemic, huh?
Yeah.
All right, I'm here to give my report for the week of February 23rd, 2026. I know last meeting we talked about what was going on with the high schools. I wanted to update the council on a meeting I had with School City Hammond. I met with trustee Carlotta Blake King, who I believe is the president of the school board. I met with their attorney, Joel Harris, and their current superintendent, their acting superintendent, Tony Salinas. I think we had a productive meeting, talked to them about the frustrations and the complaints that we're getting from the residents. They asked if I'd be willing to wait until March 31st before we took any action and before they got back to us and let us know what they have planned for those pieces of property so that they could research it properly. And I said, sure. So gave them till, I think it's obviously, that's like 6 weeks. So I think it's a good amount of time for them to try to figure out how to rectify this situation. So I wanted to keep the council and the public that watches the council meeting up to date on those two situations. I don't know if you have any questions about that. I think it was a good meeting. We'll have more in April. So,
Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Is that with regard only to the high schools?
I only brought those two up with that
Okay.
meeting. There's obviously more schools that we have to talk to them about, but those are the two that we're focusing on at first. But this is
Okay.
a problem with just those, it's more than just those two.
Correct.
One of those two, Clark High School, has no parking lot. And that's the point we were trying to make is there's a law out there that says if the school cities give up a building, they have to offer it to charter schools for $1. And obviously there's not a lot of school cities that are thrilled with possibly bringing in a charter school to use their building for $1. But if a charter school wanted to buy Clark High School, they have no parking. So offer it up for $1. If somebody does buy it, the charter school, how are they gonna ever open? They can't. The council would never allow that to happen, neither would the city, because they have no room to park. There was a problem with Clark Fields when it was open. Can you imagine how bad it would be if they had no parking? So Gavitt High School is a different situation, because Gavitt High School is an entire piece of property with parking included right now, so it's a little bit more complicated. But I think it was a good meeting. They asked if we could wait till March 31st before we did anything, and I agreed to do it. So I do want to keep you up to date on that.
Thank you.
All right, another issue that we've been dealing with on the council and the mayor is the extension for the data center. We gave him until the end of February. It's end of February, and the data center, in more particular, so we have multiple parties involved here. The parties with data centers, it's Decennial Group. We've been dealing with them. They're the ones that did the first data center we opened. And then their key client for the next phase is a company called CoreWeave. This is a publicly traded company. I know it has a lot to do with AI. That's about all I'm going to be able to give you on that, okay? This is a big tech company. It's a worldwide company. They have multiple locations in the world and across America. The fact that they're the main client of our current data center and they want to take most of the capacity of the next data center that's a real good thing. They could afford it, certainly. What they're asking for, so this is Decennial Group, and this is CoreWeave. Decennial Group is represented by a gentleman named Dave Pavlik. I'm sure you've all met him over the years. We've been doing business with him. They're asking for a 4-month extension, and they're aware that this is the final extension we're going to grant, okay? We've been sort of granting quicker exceptions because we wanted them to move along And this is, I don't want to keep coming back here asking you for a 1-month extension. So we're giving them 4 months, and that's it. If they can't get it done in 4 months, it's time to move on. So I wanted you to know that this is more than enough time for them to get a power agreement with NIPSCO completed. From what I understand, they're very close. I heard that from multiple parties involved. I heard that from Data Center Group. I heard that from NIPSCO. They can also get their lease agreement between CoreWeave and Decennial Group worked out once the power agreement's worked out. And once those two are finished, this is actually sort of a blessing, because there's a bill working its way through the General Assembly right now that says it's an encouragement to cities like us to open data centers. And I can tell you, I've been dealing with the Speaker of the House lately. I've been dealing with power brokers down there on this other bill that we've been talking about. And I specifically was told by the Speaker of the House how proud he was of Hammond. I'm not used to hearing that from statewide leaders. Let me tell you why. It's because we opened a data center and we support data centers, and the Speaker of the House happens to be a humongous fan of data centers, and this is a very powerful person in Indiana. The Speaker is also running a bill through the House right now that would give back 1% of the net proceeds of data centers to local communities as an incentive for them to bring in data centers. 1% of a very, 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 very big number. So that was not worked out in our development agreement. If this passes, this 4-month extension could be a blessing for us. Can you imagine if we made a deal 6 months ago and then all of a sudden the law changes and our deal is a bad deal? So I'm asking you all to support the 4-month extension. I think it's a good thing, and we're going to renegotiate to make sure that we're properly compensated for bringing in a data center in accordance with this new law that the Speaker is talking about. So I don't know if you all have questions on that.
So,
Yes, I got a question.
1% of what?
I'm not sure, Councilman Mark. I should have researched it a little more, but like this is all hitting me today, and obviously we have a couple of things going on right now, but that's exactly what we want to research. It's a bill going through right now intended to encourage municipalities to open data centers in their city. Obviously, we're in this business. The fact that we have an incentive package worked out without knowing what the effect that would have on us, this gives us a little chance to go back and do some homework too, okay?
Question.
Yeah, Councilman.
Correct me if I'm wrong, we had an incentive when we did this last extension? Was there an incentive for us? as
Yeah,
far
there
as-
was. I'm not sure if
So by
it's-
us circling back now and adding on an extra 4 months, what's the incentive?
Oh, that's exactly what I'm saying, Councilman. So we worked out an incentive. It was a good incentive. It's still, I think it's a good incentive. I'm just not sure if it's as good as the 1% that's working its way through the House would be.
Well, the 1% would be something totally different.
1% of a big, I mean, and exactly what I'm talking about, and I should have researched it more before I brought it up, but we have due diligence to do in the city, okay? I want to make sure, Councilman Al, Councilman Mark, all the councilmen, that if we open this data center, that we get a deal like Hobart did, okay? Hobart is the richest community in northern Indiana. I dare say down to Indianapolis, because they opened a data center. I think the first check that Hobart got was for $50 million, something around there. And they get another check of around $50 million shortly, and then they get another check after that, and each time they open another building. Now, Hobart's is much bigger than ours. They did their deal with Amazon, okay? And it's much larger than one we're talking about. But I want to make sure that we're not making a bad deal for Hammond.
I think I read 22 buildings.
Yes, sir. It's something like that. It's multiple. It's a campus. So like, obviously ours is not going to be that large, but, so I wouldn't expect us to get as much as Hobart's getting on this deal, but I'm sure we could sharpen our pencils and make sure that we're being fairly compensated in Hammond. And so this gives us that opportunity also.
Well, yeah, I'm confident that you guys will get a good deal, you know, if it gets done. I am
Thank you.
confident, but I'm referring to the incentive on just the extension.
Did we give him anything to extend it?
Did we receive an incentive for this last extension?
No, sir.
We
No.
did not?
No, we're working out the incentives if the building, and they pull building permits and start building. That's what the incentive's based on.
Got it.
Like, I think once they ink the deal in Hobart, they got a check, and then once they pull their first building permit, they get a check, and it's based on milestones like that. So we would work out ours in a similar manner.
Good.
And
Good to know.
I have every intention on working with the council on how that's used, obviously. We have a lot of work we can do in our city, and I know the council people have a lot of work in their districts they want to do, and I'm very cognizant of that.
Yeah,
Okay?
you got it. Thank you.
Okay, very cognizant of that, I understand, so. So anyway, we got some work to do on that. And then I know that's the first two. I wanted to go quickly through my schedule if that's all right, Madam President. Met with Ty Warner, the CEO of NERC in Chesterton, touching base with him, making sure, NERC is the business unit that's responsible for giving out federal funds. So we always want to be on a good place with NERC. So meeting with Ty Warner is good business, and he's a good person, and it's always good to be on the same page with NERC. Also met with Councilman Mark Kalwinski and my park department team in regards to plans to redevelop Pulaski Park in North Hammond. We're still working through the details right now and how we could pay for it, but I think it's been very productive meetings. Interviewed with ESPN Radio about the Bears bill. Attended the Banks Brew Box ribbon cutting. It's a new coffee shop located in downtown Hammond. If you don't get a chance, please stop by. It's in our 2nd district. The bank is a fully leased out, beautiful building, and they have a brand new coffee shop at the bottom floor, so you can get it right off Hammond Avenue. Plenty of parking right out in front of it. You can just park your car, run in there. Let's keep that place open. The people that opened it are taking a chance on our downtown. It'd be nice if Hammond could help them out by stopping by for coffee every, once or twice a week. All right, attended virtual meeting with leadership from the Crossroads YMCA, as well as city leaders over the plan to move forward with the expansion of the outdoor water park at the Hammond YMCA. As a reminder, the Dean and Barbara White Foundation have committed $15 million to the city of Hammond to build the outdoor water park, which will be between where the current Y is and 165th. So there's buildings there, there's leases that have been involved. It's a complicated process, but I'm not gonna let that stop us from this $15 million expansion. So we need to keep marching forward. It's a beautiful building. We're very lucky to have it in our city. It's in Hammond's 3rd district, and it's something that I don't like turning down $15 million of money. So we're getting involved as a city and helping spearhead this project. So lunch with Rep. Mike Andrade for an update on the 2026 legislative session. Mike Andrade is not even our state rep anymore, but he always does a good job of keeping in touch, and I appreciate that. It's always nice to have friends in the State House. Attended the Whiting Robertsdale Chamber of Commerce installation dinner at the Dynasty. That was very well attended, very good event. It's always nice to get together with our neighbors from Whiting. I know Councilman Mark was there. There was a number of people there. It was a really nice night. Met with the leadership team from Tortillas Nuevo Leon in Hammond's 2nd district. Jesse and Jamie Martinez, check in with them, make sure business is going well. They're just great guys. They run a great business. It's really impressive what's going on there. I appreciate them meeting with me. Testified before the Indiana House Ways and Means Committee regarding the Bears bill, Senate Bill 27. Held a press conference right here afterwards. There was a lot of TVs behind me. It was, I know you guys were mostly there. Appreciated that. It was a pretty crazy day. I've been mayor for 22 years. That was the craziest day at work I've ever had. So. And obviously, we're all keeping our fingers crossed for the game-changing development. I know that not everybody in our city supports it. I'm aware of that, okay? In fact, I'd probably say 25% of our residents probably don't support it. But I think there's probably a good majority of people that do, and I think it's the kind of project that could change our city for the better. I mean, we're talking about the stadium and the development around it would be basically worth what Hammond's worth right now. Hammond's worth about $4 billion. They're talking in that area, the Wolf Lake area, putting around the same amount of money, investment, doubling the value of our city, and investing hundreds of millions of dollars into infrastructure. So that's, it's pretty incredible, I'll be honest with you. And just being honest, while I'm sitting here on Go Hammond TV, the people spearheading this from the state are all on the other party. It's Governor Braun, it's the Speaker of the House, Todd Houston, it's the President of the Senate, Rob Bray, and Senator Mishler. And they're spearheading this, and they're committing billions of dollars of Indiana money. It's pretty humbling. It's pretty humbling. It really is. And obviously, we're the talk of the town in Chicago radio. We're the talk of the town across the country. And it was like everybody's going through the 4 stages of grief. And they're definitely in the anger phase right now. So Hammond's getting beat up, but everybody's talking about us. And let's just keep our fingers crossed. I hope the Bears choose us, and I hope Hammond is the home to the next Bears Soldier Field or whatever we're going to call it. And this city will be great partners to them. And, we'll be home of the Bears. So keep your fingers crossed. And last but not least, I met with my economic development team today, actually, I think is a good project in the first district. It's a brand new Dairy Bell is going in. Everybody loves the Dairy Bell. So a Dairy Bell and a laundromat development in Robertsdale. You should be hearing more about this. The city council, we're gonna have to bring it to you all, and I'm sure Councilman Mark's gonna be briefed better on it. This just happened today, and I know you're aware of it, but this is a great project. Anytime you're opening a new Dairy Bell in the city, I think that's a good thing, so. And that's all I have, unless you have questions for me. I apologize about the long report.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
when you mentioned that 15 million was coming from White for the
Yes, sir.
water
Right.
park, are we putting in another portion to
Well, good question.
assist
I
with
don't,
that?
that's a good question. What happens if it comes back at 20? We haven't been asked, okay? But that doesn't mean they won't ask, okay? But it was 15 million estimated when we opened the Y. Y's been open for a year and a half now. I don't know, maybe it's 16 million now. But yeah, I know the commitment from the Dina Barbara White Foundation was for 15 million.
Okay.
And Mr. White, Craig White, when we were open, it leaned over and said, "You're going to get this done, right, Mayor?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And I don't make promises to billionaires without trying really hard. So I think anytime somebody's offering us $15 million, we should do everything we can to get that done, so.
Any money we put in, does that come from food and beverage?
It could, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. We could. That's interesting, by the way,
If
Councilman
it
Mark.
goes to Sportsplex?
No, the interesting thing about that, this is a good question, and I'm good, I don't see Kevin or anybody here, so. Our 1% was projected on Hammond's normal business climate. And we still, under this proposal, Hammond still has a 1% food and beverage tax. And I don't think there was any thought that Hammond's food and beverage tax would quadruple, because everybody that buys a beer in that stadium is going to be paying a food and beverage tax. Everybody that buys a beer at that Taylor Swift concert is going to be paying a food and beverage tax. Gosh, I hope Taylor Swift plays Hammond before. But what I'm saying is that 1% for us goes up a lot more than we thought, which will open the door to other possibilities. Okay? So, Councilman Berry, did you have something?
Yeah, I know you guys have done a great job of explaining kind of SB 27 and the way the cost will work out in terms of paying for the stadium, but I know there's still a lot of misinformation out there and residents are asking a lot of questions. Can you just briefly discuss the current structure of SB 27 and how the stadium will be paid?
Not really, being honest with you. Because honestly, Councilman, I would be lying if I told you that we're in charge of this. We're like along for the ride, literally. I imagine if we are chosen, okay, that we're going to be in charge, because this is our city. But right now, it's the big dogs down in Indianapolis that are calling the shots, being honest. It's the governor's team, led by Indiana Finance Authority. It's the Speaker of the House. It's the President of the Senate. And quite frankly, I get dribs and drabs. I think I got more than most people, and I can tell you there's a few things I'm definitely not supposed to discuss, and that's one of them, okay? And I'm just trying to honor the deal, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you. There's a few third rails that I'm not supposed to touch, and that's definitely one of them. But I'll be honest, Councilman, I'm not an expert on how they are talking about putting it together right now, because I haven't really been part of the negotiation in that regard. I'm aware of what's going on. I'm supportive of the deal. We're integral partners, because without us and our ability to have 200 plus acres available in Hammond, this deal dies, So I'm not trying to avoid that question. I really don't. I know that there was some talk about innkeeper's tax doubling. So I can get into that kind of stuff. Innkeeper's tax paid for by people that stay in hotels. Most of us here in Northwest Indiana don't stay in hotels because this is where we live, okay? I know that there was some talk about food and beverage tax countywide. I know that the county leaders have been briefed on that, Councilman Berry, county councilmen and county commissioners in Lake County and in Porter County. The hearing I testified in, Councilman Berry, had the Republican chairman of Lake County there and the Democratic chairman of Lake County there. So like the crazy thing about this is the Speaker of the House is he's lining up his troops too. He's going out into the counties and saying, hey, we need to support this. This is transformational, not just for Hammond, for the region. But, as far as the intricate details, I'm not part of it, and that could change tomorrow, being honest with you, because they're in session, literally.
Yeah, well, I think you touched on what I was getting to is
Good.
the innkeeper tax and the
Yes,
food
sir.
and beverage tax.
So innkeeper tax currently in Lake County is 5%, and most of that is eaten up already, and it goes to the South Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau, okay? You all have an appointment on there. I believe your appointment's Bernie, Chief Bernie, and I have an appointment on there. My appointment's Kim Roberts from the Hammond Sportsplex. Those two represent Hammond. We're the only city in the region with two people on that board. The CEO used to be my chief of staff. We all know Phil Talon runs the organization. So I think Hammond's well represented, but I can tell you that, and it's a source of consternation with me, I don't think Hammond gets enough respect in the current budget. That changes, obviously, if Bear Stadium comes here, you know. So I'm not sure if I answered
No,
your
yeah,
question.
you did. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes, sir. Hi, Councilman.
you touched on it. I watched all this starting Thursday when my phone blew up, people asking me. And I'm a big avid listener of sports radio out of Chicago and podcast listener, and I went from seeing shock to hearing a lot of good things about Hammond, and then I think they realized that this might happen, and starting Friday and Saturday, I seen a lot of bashing of Hammond
Yeah, it's still
from
happening.
a lot of people that podcast from their mother's basement, I think. But one guy went up there and gets out of the car, and he was saying, "I smell gas." You
Yeah.
know, another guy was all happy because a bar around here has pull tabs. You know, it's like the craziness that went on. You know, and besides that point, the one thing I heard you say, and the one thing that I've been asked a lot is, there you go, Hammond's going to raise our property taxes. They're capped at 1%, correct?
Yes, sir. And you know, it's interesting, Councilman, this sort of goes back to Barry's question. There isn't any component of the funding that I saw that affects Hammond at all. It affects Hammond citizens at all, unless you choose to go to the Bears game, okay? Or I guess go out to a restaurant, all right? But that affects Lake County. But if you don't go to a Bears, if you're the type of person that doesn't go out to eat, if you're the type of person that doesn't buy a ticket for this stadium, this won't affect you. So,
Like I
mean,
told Tina, that I guess if we go to a hotel and we don't want to pay the extra tax, we can't go to the one on Klein Avenue no more, the Motel 6, you know? But I'll
it's like
just say,
3 blocks from your house. We'll get into that later, I guess.
but the last thing I'll say is, you know, we sit here every meeting and we have to hear a lot of disinformation and stuff that we're supposedly doing that we're not, and we just sit back and we just take it a lot of times, and you included. But I will say this, as far as I'm concerned, if an opportunity arises for the city to double your assessed evaluation, we'd be fools to say, you know what, we don't want it. And that's all I got to say about
This
it.
stadium would bring a couple thousand jobs along with it, permanent jobs, by the way. And that doesn't even count all the construction jobs that'll go into building the stadium. Tens of thousands of jobs created during that phase. And it's a 3 or 4 year project. So for the next, it's like BP Amoco when they did that huge multi-billion-dollar expansion. It would be a job creator for all the building trades, for all the unions. You know, I hear our neighbors in Porter County complaining right now, I don't want to pay food and beverage tax. Okay, but does that mean you don't want any of your people working on it? Because there's a lot of union people I know that are part of the building trades that are gonna be working on this project. So maybe we should pass something as, you know, I don't even wanna get into that. There's no reason to get into that. This is a great project for Northwest Indiana, and that includes Porter County, and they should definitely help. And it's, the Speaker of the House is rallying the troops. I think we should support him. And this is the first time I've ever worked on a project with Todd Houston. He's being incredibly generous to our city. Incredibly generous. The Governor Braun, he's being incredibly generous to our city. Senator Mishler, Senator Bray, they're being incredibly generous. These guys are going out of their way and trying to spend a couple $2 billion in Hammond, Indiana right now. So I appreciate that. I really do. I think it's sort of refreshing in 2026 to see this kind of stuff going on. It really is. So,
Mayor,
yes, sir.
is that sports authority in place now that the state was creating through law?
It depends on the one you're talking about, Councilman. Earl Harris created a sports authority last year. It's called the Northwest Indiana Sports Authority. That is not going to be in charge of this project. The one that, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Earl. What the governor and the Speaker of the House and Senator Mishler are creating is something that they created in Indy. It's a board, it's an authority basically that's in charge of the stadium. There's one board that's responsible for that and one that's responsible for the area around the stadium. And Hammond will have representation on that, but we will not be in charge. Make no mistake about it. The governor will be in charge of that district, the governor's people, and in charge of that whole area. We'll have representation. I think it's a 3-member board, we have 1. That means the 2 are coming from the state. So that's gonna be in our city, and we're not gonna be calling the shots in that area. So there's sacrifices for us to make, but the good far outweighs the bad, in my opinion.
And that sports authority, for lack of a better name, is already in place.
The Earl Harris's is in place right
Oh,
now.
The other one has to. name
It's
its
in
people.
Senate Bill 27, the other one, yeah. I didn't mean to dominate. I know we have a lot going on, so I appreciate the questions. Is there any other questions? I appreciate you guys. And I said this at the meeting the other day when all the press was here, and I mean it. We've been working hard over the last 20 years and getting our city ready over the last 20 years for an opportunity like this. So like, that wouldn't have happened without all of our hard work. So all this stuff that we've been doing for the last 20 years, it's like we have an opportunity to double our city's assessed value and create thousands of jobs and create, if this happens, Hammond, Indiana is going to be an NFL city. Again, Hammond Pros, that was a century ago. That's just incredible to me. That's just incredible to me that like we'd be up there with the Green Bays of the world, smaller towns with an NFL team in it. So keep your fingers crossed. Appreciate you guys.
I said at lunch today, rather than see Taylor Swift in 2030, I want to see the Rolling Stones there.
Yeah, good luck with that. So thank you all. It's good to see you. Have a nice meeting.
Thank you, Mayor. Alrighty, moving on to approval of minutes.
I ask that we approve the minutes from the February 9th meeting and place them on file.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Salinas, second by Councilman Emerson, to accept the minutes of February 9th. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes pass. Moving on to claims.
Madam President,
Councilman Warple.
I make a motion, we accept the claims dated February 4th, 2026 through February 18th, 2026, beginning with claims dated, beginning with claim number 1243 through claim 1654 inclusive, in the amount of $6,521,802.25.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Warple, second by Councilman Rakos to accept the claims. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call vote, please.
Alexander.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes. Claims pass. 8 in favor, 1 virtually, total of 9. Thank you. Pardon me?
That was pretty good, you threw your voice.
Oh, okay. Okay, moving on to public hearings. There are none. Communications.
Madam President,
Councilman Tyler.
I would just like to give condolences to Councilwoman Alexander and her family on the loss of her aunt, as well as the Gilliard family on the loss of Miss Anita Gilliard. Both of those funerals and memorial services were held over the weekend, so just want to extend condolences to both families. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other communications?
Madam President,
Councilman Kalwinski.
the Hammond Mohawks again this year will be sponsoring the Memorial Day Parade, which will be on Monday, May 25th, and will end at St. Casimir's Church, where we traditionally hold a memorial service at the church. And following the ceremony at St. Casimir's, there will be refreshments at the Hammond Mohawks. If you would like to participate in it, have any questions or would like to donate or sponsor to the parade, please call Larry Fentress, Parade Chairman at the Hammond Mohawks. Phone number is 219-933-9823. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other communications? Any other communications?
Madam Chair,
Councilman Rakos.
yes, HC3 will be having the St. Patrick's Day Parade on March 14th at 1 PM. We'll go from Hessville Park to 165th down Kennedy. If anybody has any wants any information to contact HC3, they can be contacted, get the contact information off the Facebook page for HC3.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other communications? Any other communications? Any other communications? Communications are now closed. Moving on to committee reports.
Madam Chair, lady.
Madam President,
Councilman Warple.
Council as a whole will be bringing out 2605.
Thank you. Councilman Salinas.
thank you. The Capital Improvement Board met on February 18th, and there were 4 funding allocations on that agenda. I'll go through each one now. Funding allocation number 303 was a Homan Avenue Phase 1 project, and that was awarded to supplemental tree, that was in regards to a supplemental tree replacement awarded to Reith and Riley in the amount of $2,028.27. Funding allocation number 304 was a general engineering service contract awarded to Nice Engineering in the amount of $60,000. Funding allocation number 305, JF Mahoney Drive Ditch Improvement awarded to H3 Concrete in the amount of $120,490. The fourth funding allocation, number 306, was the realignment of Willow Court at State Street in the amount of $120,500 to First Group Engineering. That was the entire meeting. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman. And as I do at every meeting, I'd like to read off the upcoming Community and Crime Watch meetings. On Thursday, March 12th, the Whiting-Robertsdale Crime Watch will meet at 6:30 PM. They are kind of being shifted around from room to room. Could be room 200, could be room 300, but there are signs at the entrance. Irving Community Watch will meet Tuesday, March 10th at 9:30 AM at Irving School. Hessville Crime Watch will meet Thursday, March 19th, 6 PM at the HC3 Community Center. Jefferson Crime Watch will meet Wednesday, March 11th, 6 PM at Jefferson School. Harrison Park Crime Watch will meet Tuesday, March 3rd, 6 PM at the VFW on Homan Avenue across from Harrison Park. Community Watch at Mount Zion Pleasant View Plaza will meet Wednesday, March 11th, 1 PM. And Edison Community Watch will meet Wednesday, March 4th, 6:30 PM at Edison School. At that particular meeting, both of our police chiefs will be there. Police Chief Andy Short, who will be retiring shortly, and the new Chief of Police, Jeff Long. So please come out and meet them and thank particularly Andy for his service. Both of these men and the police department in general are just a treasure to work with. They always listen to any questions that any of us may have, and they tend to whatever issue may be out there. So thank you to the Hammond Police Department. And just remember, community is not just about me, it's about us. come out to a Crime Watch meeting.
Madam President,
I was going to say thank you, Madam President, but I guess I don't have to do that.
Thank you,
Yes,
Madam President.
Councilman.
I want to go back to the Capital Improvement Board for 1 second.
Yes,
The funding allocation for Mahoney Drive is in response to the ditch on the south side of the road that is constantly wet and catches nothing but debris. And last year sometime, there were several neighborhood complaints on the debris floating in the ditch. And we sent crews out there. I went out there myself, and it's kind of hard to get the debris out of that ditch when your foot sinks in a foot, like over a foot deep, because of the mud and the water that conjugates down there. So this is in response to being able to get at the debris that constantly conjugates in there, and maybe, just maybe, the people that drive there that won't, will decide not to throw their McDonald's bags and cups out into the ditch as they drive by, but regardless of the fact they do that, we try to keep it clean over there.
Yeah, Mr.
Thank you.
Councilman Warple, the details surrounding that stated that it was to regrade approximately 1,000 feet of ditch and construct a concrete maintenance pad to improve drainage along the south side of JF Mahoney Drive. It says that in 2025, there was complaints that were raised about the condition of the ditch, including the debris and just overgrowth in general, impeding the drainage along the roadway. So the project overall seeks to resolve the standing water and the drainage problems.
Thank you.
Yep.
thank you, gentlemen. Committee reports is now closed. Moving on to ordinance, third reading and final passage.
Ordinance 26-05, sponsored by Councilman Warple. An ordinance creating a new fund, Fund Number 3399, for municipal flood and beverage tax funds. Municipal food and beverage tax funds. I apologize.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
I move for final passage and adoption of 2605.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Emerson, second by Councilman Salinas for final passage of 2605. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
this is nothing more than creating a line item for the food and beverage tax to go into the budget on.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call vote, please.
Alexander,
Yes.
Spitali,
Yes.
Kalwinski,
Yes.
Salinas,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Emerson,
Yes.
Warple,
Yes.
Rakos,
Yes.
Vines.
Yes. 2605 passes, 9 in favor, 8 in chambers, 1 virtually.
President Vines, that concludes the ordinances for final passage.
Thank you, Clerk. Moving on to introduction of ordinances.
Item A, ordinance 26-06, sponsored by Councilman Tyler and Councilwoman Alexander. An ordinance recognizing Cecile Joseph Harper for his service to the United States and for his commitment to Hammond's youth, and designating the 1100 block of Lion Streets as honorary Cecil J. Harper Way.
Madam President,
Councilman Tyler.
I actually asked that Clerk Golick if you can read the ordinance in its entirety, please.
Whereas Cecile Joseph Harper, or Doc Harper, was born on January 22nd, 1931, to Stanley and Jesse Harper in Hammond, Indiana. Whereas Doc Harper was a teacher and a mentor to hundreds of Hammond youth throughout his life. Whereas Doc Harper was an alum of Hammond High School, where he graduated number 32 out of 660 students. Whereas after graduation, he enlisted in the United States Army, served during the Korean War, and received an honorable discharge. Whereas Doc Harper attended Southern University, where he pledged Kappa Alpha Phi fraternity, incorporated in spring of 1952, and Meharry Medical College. Whereas Doc Harper was featured in the September 1964 edition of Ebony magazine as the most influential black man in Northwest Indiana for his work as a chemist at Rand McNally, his passion around education, his dedication to mentoring young men and women, and for his career as a teacher in the school city of Hammond. Whereas Doc Harper could usually be found running or walking around Martin Luther King Park. Whereas Doc Harper was a faithful servant to God and a long-standing member of the historic Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church. Whereas Doc Harper passed away on August 5th, 2021, at the age of 90, and whereas in recognition of his services and dedication to the community, the council finds it appropriate to acknowledge his contribution to our society by designating an honorary street in his memory. Therefore, be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Hammond that it duly recognizes Cecil Joseph Harper for his service to the United States and for his commitment to Hammond's youth, and designates the 1100 block of Lion Streets as Honorary Cecil J. Harper Way.
Thank you, Clerk Golick. Any discussion?
Yeah. Madam President,
Councilman Tyler?
I move that we pass ordinance 2606 on first and second.
Second.
Madam President,
Councilman Werpel?
under discussion, I move for a suspension of rules so we can pass this tonight.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Clerk Golick, roll call vote on that, please.
Just for the suspension
To
of rules.
suspend the rules.
Hang on, I'm early on that. Let's take a vote on first and second reading first, and then I'll make the motion. So I withdraw my motion.
Okay.
So he moved for first and second reading. Is there any with a second, is there any discussion?
Who's withdrawing the second
jumped the gun.
on that? Who's on left?
What's that?
I said, who's on left?
So Barry made the motion, I seconded.
Okay, so everybody rescinds their motion, and we are now going to vote on first and second. And ordinarily, I would ask for a referral to a committee, but since Councilman Warple wants to pass this tonight, I will refrain from that. So, who was the second on the motion?
I was.
Okay, Councilman Salinas. Oh, boy.
Got
Okay,
it. One mistake.
Good job, you got it.
okay, okay. So, any other discussion? Councilman Warple?
Did it pass on first and second reading?
No.
Oh, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes on first and second. Now, Councilman Warple.
Councilwoman Menez.
Yeah,
I would
yes.
like to make a motion to suspend the rules to pass this on third and final passage tonight.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilman Warple, second by Councilman Tyler, to suspend the rules. Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander,
Yes.
Spitali,
Yes.
Kalwinski,
Yes.
Salinas,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Emerson,
Yes.
Warple,
Yes.
Rakos,
Yes.
Vines.
Yes, suspension of the rules passes.
Councilwoman Menez. Madam President,
Councilman Warple.
Here. I make a motion that we pass it on third and final passage. We pass ordinance 2606 on third and final reading.
Okay, is there a second? Who's second? Okay. No, this is for the final vote. Motion by Councilman Warple, second by Councilman Kalwinski, to pass 2605 on final passage this evening. Any discussion? Any discussion?
2606.
Yes, you're right about that. Thank you.
Why me?
Madam,
Pardon?
I'll read the title.
Okay, thank you.
Ordinance 26-06, an ordinance recognizing Cecil Joseph Harper for his service to the United States and for his commitment to Hammond's youth and designating the 1100 block of Lion Street as honorary Cecil J. Harper Way.
Madam President,
Councilman Tyler.
during the suspension of rules, I asked that we allow representatives from the family to speak.
Yes, thank you.
Take a vote. Go ahead.
Do I need a roll call?
No, it's under
No,
suspension
because
of
we
rules.
already suspended the rules to pass.
I'm staying out of it.
But then we came to third. But then we made a motion for third and final
Okay, roll call vote,
to suspend the rules.
suspend the rules. Aye, aye.
Alexander,
Yes.
Spitali,
Yes.
Kalwinski,
Yes.
Salinas,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes?
Emerson,
Yes.
Warple,
Yes.
Rakos,
Yes.
Vines.
Yes. Oh, suspension of the rules passes. Okay. Councilman Ty, so,
But then we went to third and final.
You had a suspension of rules by.
We got a suspension of the suspension right now.
That passed.
okay. So right now, we've already suspended rules for someone to come to the podium. Correct?
We got a suspension of the suspension.
But you gotta pass it too.
Correct,
So
I
why
am
don't
so
you move for
confused
final
right now.
passage?
because we've suspended the rules twice.
Because we went back to business. We went to third and final.
What we should, what he's saying is we should have passed it and then asked to suspend the rules so the family would.
I, sure?
Okay. Okay, so I need a motion to suspend the rules to allow the
That'll be three
family.
suspensions.
Don't you say a word. I need a motion to suspend the rules to allow a member of the family to come to the podium. So is there a motion?
So move.
Motion by Councilman Kalwinski, second by Councilman Salinas. Roll call vote, please.
Alexander,
Yes.
Spitali,
Yes.
Kalwinski,
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Emerson,
Yes.
Warple,
Can I talk?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you may.
Rakos,
Yes.
Vines.
Yes. Suspension of the rules. All righty. Councilman, would you like to invite a member of the family to the podium, please?
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Kimberly Harper. I am
Can you pull the mic down?
You
Thank
want to
you.
speak up a little,
Hi,
please?
hello everyone.
There we go,
Good
that's
evening.
better.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Harper, and I am the daughter of Cecil J. Harper. And I just would like to take this time to thank everyone for considering my dad and honoring him for this well-deserved venture. Thank you.
Very welcome.
Anybody else?
Don't be shy.
Hi, my name is Bernina Harper, and I'm Cecil J. Harper niece. And he was he was more like a father to me than my uncle. And like now today, when I see people, they be telling me that they retired from the job that Uncle Cecil gave them, and it wasn't McDonald's, and that was his favorite place where he was on Columbia all the time. And so they tell me, they thank me, they very thankful, and they always say he was like a mentor to them, an advocate. And I remember he was my substitute teacher at Hammond High back in the day for Miss Warner. She went on vacation. And so I seen Harper up on the board. I was like, I know that ain't Uncle Cecil or Uncle Ivory. So then Uncle Cecil walked in, and he was my teacher. And I was like, wow. I was like, because he was a substitute for School City of Hammond. And everybody's like, you're going to get to take down the attendance. I said, no, I'm not. And so he was like, Harper, take down the attendance. So I'm looking at him. I'm like, okay. But it was just a shock to see my uncle, in there for biology teaching me. And, but he's very known. Everybody, from the park, running in the park, Maywood Park, which I grew up on, Maywood Park, but it's Dr. Martin Luther King Park now. And everybody knew him. We'd go into Burgers back in the day, the grocery store. I mean, for multicultural, everybody knew him. My grandmama, Big Mama, would send us to the store, Jessie Mae Harper, and everybody. I would have to finish the grocery list because he couldn't get to the grocery list that Big Mama gave him because everybody kept stopping him, and they'd be talking and stuff. So, and but Uncle Cecil was very known, and he just made HMD. Hammond. He was just the advocacy mentor for everybody. From the younger, everybody, and he ran track back in the day. And he told me, he said, I don't know why your mom and your Uncle Curly went to Hammond Tech. I tried to get them to graduate at Hammond High, because he said it was more studies, and, we had more studies there, like, with the academics. And, but, Uncle Cecil, just for Hammond, he's just the fatherhood for everybody, that grew up here. And if he, went before his death, everybody. So, but I want to thank y'all very much for approving for the Honorable Cecil J. Harper to be on Lion Street. Because when he passed away, he lived on Lion Street. And then he ran the park. So that's a, excellent place for it to be, and I appreciate y'all. And my family appreciate y'all for doing it.
You're welcome.
Thank y'all.
Thanks for sharing that. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing your uncle with us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me.
Anyone else care to speak? Anyone else care to speak?
He was a good man.
All righty. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes?
motion to
Councilman?
resume the regular order of business.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Kalwinski, second by Councilman Salinas, to return to the regular order of business. Clerk Golick, do I need a roll call on that? No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. We're back to the regular order of business. Resolutions. There are none. New and unfinished business. Any new and unfinished business? Any new and unfinished business? New and unfinished business is now closed. Special zoning action adopted under Indiana Code 36-7. There are none. Public expression. Let's see. First speaker, Mary Shones.
Dave's girlfriend.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, how about
Good.
you?
Good. I wanted, congratulations on the new Cecil J. Harper Drive, or Way, yeah. Congrats to the whole family. I think I only have 3 minutes every 2 weeks, so I want to shift a little bit what that I have been talking to you about for the last several sessions. Because, I've been listening to the mayor's address, and I noticed tonight he seemed a little bit cool. He seemed to have cooled off a little bit on the AI data center. He says, well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't. And that seemed a little bit different. And so when he mentioned the name CoreWeave, I decided, I looked it up, and I looked up the news about CoreWeave. News about CoreWeave isn't great. They have a B+ S&P Global rating, which B+ sounds really great. Like if you get a B+ on your math test, that sounds really good, but a B+ as an investment is not good. That's below investment grade. That means that they're taking on way more debt than they're taking in money. There was also, anyway, if you want to look up Blue Owl and CoreWeave, CoreWeave is rapidly expanding, but they don't really have the money that it takes to. So, when he's talking about 1%, it could be 1% of, I don't know what it would be 1% of. It'd probably be most likely 1% of zero is what we would get for all of that. And in return, we would get poison water, higher electric bills, and most of those jobs go away after initial construction is done. The other thing I wanted to point your attention to a Indiana Capitol Chronicle article that was published today by Nikki Kelly talking about the stadium and about the proposed food and beverage taxes. That would, as long as you don't eat or drink, I suppose, you won't have anything to worry about. But imagine if we, instead of raising $12 to $18 million for a stadium, wouldn't it be really cool if we raised $12 to $18 million for our schools? I mean, I know that, we tried to do a referendum and it didn't pass, but I think that a lot of it had a lot to do with a lot of residents did not have confidence in Scott Miller's vision for the city. And I think that was one of the reasons why I think people want funding for our schools, but we had no trust whatsoever in the superintendent. So we're raising money, but it doesn't go back to us. It goes to pay for the stadium. So, but if we wanted to use food and beverage taxes or hotel taxes to expand schools, pay for teachers and paraprofessional staff, expanded programs instead of art and music programs to be specials, maybe we can have full-time music and art teachers in our classes. It's just a different vision of the city. Instead of a stadium, why don't we have schools? Thank you.
Next speaker, Ken Rosick.
Hello, greetings, Council. Building a bridge off Parish in Hessville does not create a quiet zone. In fact, it will be just the opposite for residents throughout Hessville. Building a bridge to create a quiet zone is the latest batch of snake oil whipped up by the mayor and served at the state of city. He has no problem telling a bunch of outsiders this garbage, but for us, he declares the topic completely off limits. No residents allowed to ask a question or even talk. Freedom of speech rights completely violated. Council Rakeless never even stood up for us, not a word. I think he would be perfectly okay if residents were never allowed to speak, even in here. Does building a bridge create a quiet zone? If you know the area, you know it's ridiculous. When trains come, they are required to make 3 long blasts and 3 short blasts before a crossing. We have 6 crossings in Hessville. A train must start honking at least a quarter mile before a crossing to get them all in. For 173rd and 169th Streets, the train has to begin just after Parish. Where is this quiet zone? I'm blocks away and I can hear all 36 blasts, and so can everyone in town. Cut down all the trees and it becomes louder for the entire town. Who do we think the city is pandering to off Parish Crossing? Municipal workers? Certainly nobody on the east side of Parish. That's for sure. They hate this project. Hundreds of residents will have their beautiful backyards and forests bulldozed and replaced with a new major thoroughfare. Their properties ruined. Traffic will be nonstop. This will become the go-to route to get across town. Cars and motorcycles racing right outside their back doors. Will this be a quiet zone for them? No, it's their worst nightmare. Have we seen any sympathy for them from the city workers on the other side of Parish? No. The usual suspects, just to be rude, yelled, "Build that bridge." No sympathy. As long as it's not in their backyard. The mayor has pitted city workers against average residents. Put up proper gates on all 6 crossings and declare it a quiet zone like every other town around us. Highland, Griffith, Munster all have quiet zones without building a bridge. Stop the land grabs and destruction of our neighborhoods and natural areas. Thank you.
Public expression is now closed. I
Madam-
love the positivity.
Madam President.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Madam President, before that, I have a
Yes,
question.
Councilman.
I see we have a lot of youth in the building. Just want to acknowledge them and give them an opportunity to share if they want to share while they're here.
You said why we're here?
Yeah,
Come on up, come on up.
where you guys are from while you're here.
You know, we got some leaders. There's some leaders in that group. Come on up.
Somebody has something positive to say.
Yes.
Yeah. We're here on behalf of Munster High School. I think we're all Munster High School residents here.
Welcome.
And our government teacher, Mr. Gordon, requires that we attend a public policy-making meeting like this, so.
Also, not to mention, we just have an interest as well in the subject. We think what you all do here is really respectable and admirable, and we love the work that you guys do.
Yeah, we thought it would be an interesting topic to talk about Hammond with everything that's, as we've discussed today, going on here, and that's why a lot of us are here.
Yes.
Well, thank you very
Yes.
much. I hope I didn't confuse you all and deter you from your interest in government.
Not at all. Although I'm going to ask my teacher what a double suspension means.
Get back to us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your positivity.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, of course.
I want to give a special thanks to Councilman Barry Tyler for making this happen. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Great
Thank
job,
you.
Barry. Great job.
It's nice for the acknowledgement.
job.
Thank you very much. Yes. All righty, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?